Hello everybody, welcome to today's video, and in today's video we're going to talk about a friend named Daniel who got me in trouble and who was a bully and everything like that. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, so let's start off from the very beginning. I first met this kid named Daniel Medrano. And Daniel Medrano was this kid that became a friend of mine in 7th grade. Daniel had made a lot of enemies with people. There was a lot of enemies, there was a lot going on, and it just was crazy. And there was a lot that was going on. He was, had a lot of enemies and stuff like that. And it was going off really good. Daniel was becoming good friends. He was, and here's what happened about a month after that. So, it wasn't long after we became friends when we had a incident happen with a security assistant who worked at the middle school. This security assistant was kind of, friends with Daniel, and it's really messed up on how this woman treated me. So she was an old lady, she was old, and and I was minding my own business. I was talking to Daniel, and she come walking up to the table, and I had said, and I was talking to Daniel, and I said, "Oh, Daniel, you're gonna go into the portable and your claws gonna shake like crazy." Well, then this ms.Elliot, that teacher, that the security assistant had come up and yell at me for pretty much no reason at all. So let me explain. So I was minding my own business, right? And she comes up to the table, and I said, shaking all crazy. She goes and says, "You better not be saying anything to my Danny. You need to go and face away." And she takes her walkie-talkie, and she points at me like this and says, "You need to go and face away. Face away. Because you better not be saying anything to my Danny." And I'm like, "Excuse me? Who the heck do you think you are? You just gonna go and yell at me for no apparent reason? That's something I can't have." So I was like, so she goes on this minute saying that I need to go and face away, that, that I'm the one who is bothering him and stuff like that. I'm like, you don't understand. You are wrong in so many ways. I was not bothering him. He was fine with the way everything was going. He was the one who was fine. There was no disturbance whatsoever. And you're going to go and yell at me? standing by the table when you come up and, and I mean, it was just a split second. I was talking to him casually, and she goes and sets her stuff down, and she goes and looks at me, and then that's when she starts running her mouth. So, here's what happened. For the rest of the day, I was very upset. I didn't get in trouble or anything, but I was very upset. I was just upset. I went home and I told my mom. So I went and I told my mom about what happened. My mom was about ready to cry. That's how upset she was, because I told her everything that happened. She told me, the guy, I can't really talk about him, but glasses, black hair, that kind of stuff. Looks like J.J. Abrams with a little more masculine in him. Anyway, yeah, so this, she told the guy, and he's like, well, that is inappropriate. That is inappropriate. Because you said shaking all crazy. That is why it is your fault. That's why, and so she did everything by the book. Well, that's what happened. So I was like, I don't know who the Betty cop thinks she is, yelling at my son for nothing. He didn't do nothing wrong. And I can tell you for a fact that here is what happened. Okay, so going into the story about what happened, and I'm trying to speak a little loud so my mic can pick up what I'm saying, because because the problem is with this camera is that the mic audio sounds a little muffled a little bit, so that's why I'm trying to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, so anyway, so what happened was after that is I had told my mom what happened. My mom goes and calls the principal, the assistant principal for the 7th grade, which was Mrs. Datterson. Mrs. Datterson talked to my mom about what happened, and she was going to go and talk to the security assistant. And that was about 2 days after that, the incident occurred. So what happened is the day, so then I'm in class and the principal comes up to the classroom door and the assistant apologized. Miss Elliot was shaking like a leaf because she knew that she was on the brink of getting fired. But the question is what happened with all that? So she had said that she was making sure Daniel wasn't bothering me. And I know damn well that's not true. Because she wasn't making sure Daniel was bothering me. She accused me of bothering him. And I didn't even do nothing. I'm just sitting there, eating my lunch, talking to Daniel, having fun, and she just explodes on me for no reason. But so she definitely lied, because I don't know if she had misinterpreted me, like didn't really notice. Like she probably, because I don't know any problems that Daniel has had prior to 7th grade. I mean, there was everybody in his class did not like him at all and was very bothersome to him. So she goes and says, so she goes and basically lies, saying that no, she wasn't she wasn't disciplining me, but she thought that Daniel was bothering me. If he was bothering me, would I be talking to him? Would I be sitting next to him? No. So Miss Elliot lied. Miss Elliot lied. And there was a kid that sat across from my table, said, oh my God, said, wow, Tristan just got in trouble. And that's the exact words that he said. So she was lying. So we're like, you know what? We're not even going to go there. Since she wants to lie and cover up her job, which she should have retired from that job, because she should have been fired for what she did. Now, I mean, I guess she didn't have to be fired, but she should have never treated me like that in the very first place. So yeah, that's the way I think about it. One time during that year of throughout 7th grade, there was an incident that occurred at lunch at the table, because, you know, when we were in middle school, they assigned classes to a certain table. That's what they did. Now in high school, they don't necessarily do that anymore. But yeah, so they had went, and there was this kid that's in Daniel who apparently had raised his fist at some girl or something, and she had went up to the school resource officer. The school resource officer came up, took Daniel away, and Elliot came up to the table. Yeah. And she just asked if everything was okay. Anyway, so going on forth about Daniel. So then Daniel started to annoy me. And when I get annoyed by people, I kind of have an attitude, you know, I don't really handle annoying people very well, because, you know, I get very, very, you know, kind of like pissy kind of attitude. And, you know, so this kid, and you know, Daniel was just being on my nerves, and this one, and he would start, and I had to yell at him, stop, 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 stop. And this one time, and he was starting to harass me, because it was stupid things. Like one time, he was touching the hair right here on the back of my neck, like right here. Touching right here, over and over and over again, and I was getting pretty frustrated. And then another time he tried to touch my head when running at me, and so I went and blocked him, and we were like almost about ready to punch each other in the face. And I'm like, you know what? I'm telling on you. So I went and told the PE teacher, and the PE teacher's like, you know what? You guys should separate. So then we didn't have any issues. Well then, you know, we kept having these issues, and one day in class, in one of the classes, you know, this teacher named Miss Strauss, she was a bit crazy. You know, she was certainly, she was certainly just, wow. She has had a lot of first-hand experiences with a lot of crazy people in her life. You know what I'm saying. And one day in class, Daniel went and had touched or something. And I had raised my voice and I said, "Stop touching me." And so Strauss went, got Daniel moved, and she's like, "Trishan, you need to write up a incident report." So that's what I did. I went, wrote up an incident report, turned it into Miss Batterson. Miss Batterson came, called me in, and she had talked about what happened, and Daniel was sentenced to 5 days in ISS. And they moved him out of my English class and my PE class. So what happened was, that was the end of all of that. And ever since then, he hasn't bothered me for the rest of the 7th grade. Well, it doesn't end there. Well, then, what happened is Daniel got in trouble the next year. So the next year, they put him once again in my English class. Oh no, I don't think he was in my, yeah, maybe he was in my English class. Maybe. I think he was in my English class. Or maybe he wasn't, I don't remember. But he was in my English class. And he was in my English class. What we did was, he was in my English class and he had, once again, got written up again. Because here's what happened. He was doing things to me, like this one day he just randomly grabbed my arm and I said, "Don't grab my arm." And and Daniel is like a few inches shorter than me. He still is what, 5'2", 5'3". Okay, he's a lot shorter than me. And he is a lot shorter than me. He's like, he comes up maybe to my shoulder here. And he grabs my arm, and I tell him, "Do not grab my arm." So I went and told Miss Strauss again, and I wrote up an incident report. Now keep in mind, Miss Strauss, keep in mind, we have a different principal throughout 6th grade has their own principal, 7th and then 8th have their own principal. We had this principal, his name was Mr. Marchione, and Mr. Marchione was pretty much a man in black, is the best way I can describe him. He always wore sunglasses inside, he was this tall guy, and he was extremely strict. I mean, my mom had to write him an email about not coming to a meeting, and he obeyed. Yeah, so she goes and so he goes and doesn't even call me or anything. He just automatically just says, "You know what? You are suspended." Which, speaking of which, Marchione don't mess around. I mean, one time he yelled at a teacher who is from Trinity. Yells at her because she wanted to go and let him because she wouldn't let the class get their stuff from the 8th grade hall. We were in the 7th grade hall. And, yeah, or Miss Rice. So Miss Rice has had to deal with Marcioni before, deal with Daniel and all that. So she just said, you know what, I'm just gonna, so Daniel was once again moved out of my classes. We didn't have a problem with him for the rest of the year. No more problems with Daniel. No more. So what I did was after that, I told, I'm like, woohoo, no more problems with Daniel. And then another time, Elliot yelled at me or something, or yelled in my direction, and I just ignored him. And then another time, so that was just messed up. So that was the story of Danny, but it's not there yet. So going on into the next day, the next school year. So in 9th grade, Daniel was not at my school. He was at a different high school. And because Daniel lived in a different area. Well, then Daniel moved to another area, and he was put into my school. He was put into my school at into my school sophomore year, and he was there throughout the senior year. Ever since that time, Daniel had completely changed. He was no longer that person that would be harassing me or harassing anybody's friends or anything like that, And that's why Daniel had changed. And ever since then, we've been friends. But, yeah, it's just crazy on how you could be having problems with somebody, and then they turn around and they're like, alright, I'm normal. Does that make sense to you? So yeah, so that's the whole story about Daniel, and it's all that really happened. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and see you guys in another video. See ya.